Thank you for inviting me to send this message to this year's most unusual Congress. I bring you solidarity greetings from the Scottish Labour Party. And can I begin by thanking you, Jackson, for your outstanding service as STUC President during these most challenging of times, for your work in your own union, Unite, and for the wisdom you provide as a member of the Scottish Labour Party Executive. Thank you, Ros, for the vitality and leadership you have offered the trade union movement since taking over as General Secretary in the spring. It is thanks to you and your staff, as well as General Council members, affiliated unions, trades councils, workplace representatives across Scotland, that workers' voices have been heard loud and clear in this pandemic. I would also like to pay tribute to Graham Smith, who I worked alongside for many years in our movement, not least for 5 years at the STUC. We worked together, devising an agenda for the Scottish Parliament and helping to win the case for its creation. A long and happy retirement to you, Graham. Across Scotland, there is a very real sense of fear right now. Yes, fear of the virus, fear that it may take more loved ones from us, and fear that it will continue to keep us apart from our families and our friends. But there is a fear too of the economic devastation that it has unleashed, the joblessness it has created, and the jobs that could still be lost. There is a fear too of exploitative bosses who will take advantage of circumstances like these to attack hard-won pay, terms and conditions of employment. But it is the role of our movement to offer hope over fear, to organise, to save those jobs, and to fight back against those exploitative bosses and remind them that it is Scotland's workers who are the real wealth creators in this country. In dark times, it is easy to become pessimistic about our country and our world. But whenever I feel pessimistic, it is the trade union movement I turn to for a sense of optimism. I think of the hospitality workers organised by Unite, who recognise that now is the time to fight for a fair deal, not just to save their industry, but to transform working conditions across it and to fight for a real living wage. I think of the Glasgow refuse workers in GMB, who, when the council refused to come to the negotiating table to discuss their unsafe conditions in this pandemic, downed tools. I think of the BT workers, those CWU members, considering the first national strike in their company since 1994, after the new management took an aggressive approach in negotiations. I think of the NHS workers, including those Unison members I met a few days ago, sending a clear message to the Scottish Government, which I heartily endorse. Pay up now. And I think of all those workers and all those unions educating, agitating and organising for a better world. Our key workers have been on the front line of this pandemic, and it is time that their work was recognised, respected and valued at its true worth. This is the case that Scottish Labour has been making in Parliament, and this is the case we will continue to make. We made the case for a jobs guarantee scheme, a proposal the Scottish Government then adopted, but has been far too slow to deliver. We said the pandemic and the tragic loss of life in our care homes made the argument for a national care service, which we have called for since 2011, stronger than ever. We have secured a government fund for sick pay for care workers. We made the case for collective bargaining for care workers, but we were voted down by our opponents, the Tories and the SNP. We will not give up on these fights. We will continue to present a vision for a better, an equal Scotland with full employment and an industrial strategy underpinning high quality, well paid and yes, unionised jobs. Because though COVID has brought our fight to the fore, all of us in this movement know that what we are seeing is the consequence of long-term political failure. The consequence of capital being allowed to ride roughshod over Labour. Under my leadership, Scottish Labour is taking a stand. We are determined to redistribute power and wealth from bosses to workers, from landlords to tenants, from men to women. At this Congress, you are debating the Scottish trade union movement's vision for a people's recovery. In Parliament and in communities across Scotland, Scottish Labour will fight shoulder to shoulder with you for the real change that we need. There can be no going back. The Scotland that I am proud of is that of Scotland's working people. It is Scotland's working people, represented by our movement, which will rebuild Scotland after the pandemic and rebuild Scotland for the better. Working together. That's what our Labour movement must do. Thank you.